lot of people talk about it, and every now and then on LinkedIn I see, oh, we made this AI film, we made this AI post. I'm like, yes, you made it, but do you realize how bad it is?
Brands usually say, you're not understanding my brand, to which the agencies say that you don't even brief me, you just send me an email or a call or a WhatsApp, and then you say I want something in the next 2 hours.
Besides the creation, the clients value us for our judgment. And you have to have conviction in that. Unfortunately, in the last 10, 12 years, it's so abused. Most people, by the way, on both sides, on the agency side and the marketing side, have no idea what a brand is.
Hey there, welcome to Marketing Mavericks with Indiefolio. Today we have Abhijit Avasthi with us, who is the founder of Sideways Consulting. We talk about Abhijit's journey from being an engineer to working at Ogilvy, then leaving Ogilvy as an NCD and setting up Sideways, which is one of the top agencies in India today. Lot of insights for young marketeers and folks who are into advertising to learn on how to grow their careers. Thanks a lot for your time and welcome to the podcast, Abhijit.
Hi, Kavan. Good afternoon.
I'm super excited to have a conversation with you because the whole aim for me today is to try and inspire creative founders, agency founders to try and understand, where they can see themselves in this new world and how they can kind of brace themselves and scale their agencies as you've done so well. But before all of that, I want to kind of take you back to your time at, I believe, Banaras Hindu University, where you were studying metallurgy, right? After a few years, you ended up in Ogilvy, and then you had a huge juncture there. So what happened there? What prompted you to kind of, make advertising a career of your choice?
They say about advertising and why it's an amazing place is that when you don't succeed anywhere else, it's very accepting of you. So it's just that, I had never planned to be in this field. Quite honestly, I really enjoyed engineering. I still do. And I used to work in a steel plant, but, life has its own plans. And one thing led to another. I had some personal issues. So for that, I had to leave my engineering career. And then I had to join my father, who used to be in the Air Force, but then had quit and set up a factory which manufactured dyes for printing and dyeing of textiles. So I partnered him for a few years. Then on the side, just for some source of entertainment, I used to trade in sarees, and I did all kinds of random things just to keep some kind of excitement going. Then in 97, I kind of got done with it all, and I told my dad, you know what, I just want to try something else. And I ended up in Bombay in 97, more to figure out what to do in life. I spoke to a couple of people, and some of them said, you know what, you've got a slightly off way of looking at things, so you should give advertising a shot. And quite honestly, till then, it hadn't even crossed my mind. And that's how I sort of gave advertising a chance. Advertising gave me a chance. And I started, by the way, in advertising more to figure out what is it that I might really enjoy doing. And I had gone to this place called Enterprise Nexus, where, a legend of his times, Mohammed Khan, gave me a chance. And I just stuck to advertising. So I just I wandered into advertising.
That's crazy because, you ended up being an NCD, which is top-notch position at one of the most exciting agencies in the world with, I think, one of the biggest legacies. I want to now also tap into this dilemma people are in with advertising, right? Because conventionally, people who want to get into advertising feel that they are creative people. Even with Sideways positioning and a lot of new age companies positioning, constantly try to say that we are business partners. We're trying to kind of fix your numbers, and that kind of scares a lot of people sometimes. Let's say I'm traditionally somebody who's a writer, designer, art director, creative guy, solutions person. And then the reason I'm hopping into this field is because I'm not really cut for math and finance. I'm now, hearing that my agency expects me to, give an ROI at the end of the day. How do I go and how do I end up doing it? So is advertising more or less for a creative brain, or is it more for an analytical brain as per you?
Again, lovely question. Advertising, and the reason I love it, and I think most practitioners love it, is that it's a very unique art form. Okay, it's an art form because it's kind of a commercial art. It combines creativity, but towards a tangible end, not just a feeling. many a times the feeling might lead to a business result. Yeah. I'll give you an interesting example. Why I say, okay, many years back, I had done a film. Just very lucky to have been a part of it. It was the Fevicol Bus film. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah. Now, if you look at it, it's basically the people who are going in a bus, they're going somewhere, there's interesting expressions on their face, then you pull out and then you see it's overloaded, etc., etc. And at the end, as it goes past the camera, you realize basically there's a Fevicol billboard behind it. Now look at it this way. Outside of the Fevicol billboard at the end, if you just saw that clipping, it's just an interesting image. Yeah. And you'll go like, yeah, that's a nice observation. It's sweet. It's interesting. India mein aisa bahut hota hai. But the moment you see the Fevicol logo, you go like, oh, that's clever. Ye to kuch tha. Now, what's interesting is without the logo, the first part wouldn't be as amazing. And that's what's amazing about advertising is it's creativity, but it's creativity which works only with when a logo comes. And I think people unfortunately don't realize that. So much of what we do, the magic in the idea and that aha moment comes because of that. So yes, you got to balance both out. And yes, initially you might feel that, okay, I came in for pure creativity, etc. But this is creativity of a different form. The joy of a Fevicol film or a Cadbury film is not what you can get from a painting, but the joy you get from doing a painting is not what you can get from this either. So I think that's what you have to reconcile with.
I often meet people, and I also sometimes see myself doing this, where my opinion on things is the last dozen reels I've seen sometimes. And that makes me feel that, wow, what do I really feel about this topic, right? Because I've not really gotten a chance to calm down. Even I run my own creative shop, so a lot of time also goes in seeing a lot of content in the day and approving and kind of ideating, and then referencing, and it's just watching content. So I really resonate with what you're saying, right? That so many reels today say, hey, stop and calm down and just think, kya soch raha tha tu? Like, what was your opinion on this? And I feel boredom is a great ground for actually ideas, and that's what people are kind of running away from. uh, I want to now ask you a little bit about career progression in advertising, right? A lot of people who are tuned into this probably want to be an NCD one day in a large agency. And I was curious to know, how does an advertising agency vet a creative person, right? Because the value of your idea or the creativity of your idea versus the business you generate and the relationship you maintain with an account are very different things in my mind. Like, I see a lot of solid people in advertising who are great salespeople with a creative brain and who can maintain relationships. That is why their billing goes up, etc. A lot of creative people who don't have that skill set, who have fantastic work, but are not able to really kind of maintain good relationships and grow the account, right? So can you tell me, from being like a really good creative person to becoming an NCD one day, what's the career progression one needs to go in terms of skills and focus areas?
The first thing is, and the advice I would give is, please don't chase designations. Don't be desirous of becoming an NCD, because I can give this to you in writing. Anyone who says that one day I want to be NCD here will never ever make it to it being an NCD, because you're totally obsessed with the wrong thing. And I'm not even saying this for effect, by the way. In the last 27, 28 years that I've been doing this, we all had friends who grew up, and I can clearly see those who were like, ek din main yahan pe boss CD banunga, NCD banunga, and unfortunately they didn't get there. Those who just kept their head down and just kept, like I said, working, eventually get there. That's the only way of doing it. Even if you take examples from all the sports people, cricketers, no batsman goes down to the field to say, aaj main century banaunga. The really good guys know, I'm going to take it a ball at a time, I'll pace it, I'll read the field, and I know eventually if all stars align, I will get to a century. That's the only way of playing anything. So that's one part. Secondly, I think the 2-3 things you need to do is, of course, it'll always be amazing if everyone is a complete package. You're great at creating things on your own. You're great at getting a team to create, inspiring people. You're amazing at building relationships with senior clients because, yes, unfortunately, getting the client to see the merit of an idea, rightly or wrongly, is also a part of a job. So, yes, it would be amazing to be a complete package. And I think everybody should strive to be that. It might take some work. Some things come naturally to some individuals and others don't. And I think it's very important to be aware of that, and not just for a creative person. I think in life, by the way, I think awareness is the most important thing. You need to totally know what are you good at, what are you not at, be accepting of it, and either have the perseverance to overcome those weaknesses, or say, you know what, I'm okay, I live with it and the consequences that come along with it. Where I think a little bit of discontent and some frustrations comes in is when you go like, अरे but my script I'm इतनी अच्छी लिख रहा हूँ, I'm writing such amazing scripts, my ideas won awards, but why am I not going? But there were 2-3 other things you were also supposed to do. Why didn't you work on those? Maybe unfortunately they were not mentored well, and they were not told well in advance that, you know what, you're doing an amazing job of doing tasks individually, but currently we are seeing some inadequacies when it comes to inspiring a team. Later on, when it becomes a little bigger, it's like, you know what, everything is great, but you're not being able to build an equation with your client. Have a chance with that person, you know. So I think a combination of awareness of what it takes to, in general, be a good strength for your organization, finding the right mentors, reading. And I can't stress this enough. I think one of the people just need to read a lot. I think they just, and read not just from a field, from a variety of fields, to see how have people risen in the ranks across industries, across organizations, how have amazing kings become amazing kings. I think it's very important for people to sort of read all those things, be aware, be in an environment. By the way, that's the other thing, be smart enough to read the environment, you know. When I mean, I'll give an example of that. Let's assume that there is an agency who philosophically has decided that I or we as an agency, we will grow on the back of just being great client relationship people. It is okay if our work is mediocre, not that original. मुझे client को खुश रखना है. Now, if you are a person who actually wants to do only original stuff, by the way, there's no way you're going to prosper in that environment. Yeah, so I think it's also very important now, this, which also is a part of awareness. Is this the right environment for me? Maybe I should try somewhere else. Maybe the meeting of minds will happen better elsewhere. So I think you just have to be aware of all these things.
Abhijit, I want to ask you, you said you started something with a business partner, right? Usually that's what usually happens. You got a creative and a business duo starting out. What are the next few hires you need to make in your first 1 or 2 years, which are important bets? I see a lot of early founders being very confused at this. Some people recommend get more salespeople and then assemble a team today. A lot of people say, no, get more creative people. That's the core of your, or solutions or creative people. That's the core of your offering. Can you tell me a little bit about the first 5 hires maybe I should make as an agency founder?
I think first, if you have clarity on what kind of agency you're building, obviously most important is to have the people who can deliver the end product. There's no denying that. Yeah, I'm like, you need salespeople to sell eventually, right? But you have to sell something. If you don't have people who are making things, there's an old David Ogilvy quote, I think it says, you can't have more milkers than cows on a field. Yeah, it's just that obvious. So I think it's very important to first figure out who are the people who are putting it together, whatever is your solution, whether it's advertising or product or whatever. Then if the founder believes that she or he has adequate basic knowledge of business practices and finance, etc., then that's good. Maybe first few years they don't need somebody like that. But I do believe now, this is a journey that we've gone through. I think it's always good to get somebody who's got a little grasp on finance earlier in the journey, by the way. We did it a little later, but that we could do it because we also had some little knowledge, but we had mentors. So people who were guiding us from the outside. But one of the key things I would say is I think fiscal discipline, people underrate, by the way, how important it is. And it's not important, by the way, just for the P&L point of view. I think it helps you do many amazing things. And I remember this even, Piyush used to always say this at Ogilvy, that so much of Ogilvy's magic came because that time, his sort of partner in finance and running the place was something called was Mr. Rane. And he would say, people underestimate the role that Rane plays in enabling us to do what we do. So I think get your core team, which will do the delivery first, of course, most important. Second, as if business is going well, then yes, do start getting people who can maintain relationships too. Because I think if you're the creative person who's in charge of the product, your focus has to be that. Third, definitely, as and when possible, do get somebody who can put fiscal discipline into place for sure. Then I think what's a good thing that has happened, by the way, in the last 10, 12 years is you started getting versions of fractional leadership people. So definitely get, say, somebody who can give you HR inputs, how to structure compensations, how to incentivize people. So even a lot of these people, whether it's finance or HR or some of the other bits, definitely whether it's fractional or not, I think you should look at. I think great admin people. Again, we undervalue what admin people do for us. If your life's not running smooth, boss, अगर Wi-Fi नहीं आ रहा तो उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते हो, बैठे रह जाओगे. So I think some things again which feel a little, oh, I didn't hire a really great AI digital designer. I mean, like, what, leave that for the later bit, unless that's core to your delivery.
Got it. I think fantastic playbook for anybody who wants to kind of decide who are the next few hires to make. I want to now touch upon this Tussle, which I observe quite often. We do like 1,000 projects in a year, and I get access to so many kinds of people. The complaints from both sides more or less remain to be the following, right? Brands usually say, you're not understanding my brand, and you're not really partnering with me like the older age creative partners used to which the agencies say that, yeah, because like you just said, I had a week to come up with one copy. Today you don't even brief me, you just send me an email or a call or a WhatsApp, and then you say I want something in the next 2 hours. To which the brand managers say that, yeah, but it's the new world of advertising, there's so many shelves to put the product on, I need this always on constant product out there. So there's this whole tussle which I see a lot of people actually struggling through. Long working hours, people getting exhausted of doing something new every time, the shelf life of your creative reducing, so you kind of feel worthless कि यार इतना मेहनत किया एक दिन में खत्म हो गया reel, after getting that view. So everybody's very, I think, stressed right now. What's generally your opinion here on how do we really mitigate and tackle the kind of world we are getting into?
I think couple of points, and I think all valid. There is no denying that it is stressful. Okay, but it's stressful, I think, for a different reason. And the other day I was reflecting and telling someone is we are in a very unique place where people are judged every day. By the way, that's mentally very tough. There is no, even if somebody makes a feature film, theek hai, 2 years, let's assume it was a bad film, 1 month he'll get flack, and then we'll move on. Nobody tells a doctor what this was crap, etc., etc. We are uniquely in a place where every single day you're told by somebody, "Ye acha nahi hai, ye theek nahi, ye lamba hai, वगैरह." It takes a mental toll. We don't realize it. I can't think of any other profession where you are judged every single day. And I think we have to understand that, and we have to value ourselves, and consequently communicate that to the partner on the other side. So again, then a lot of this boils down to, okay, I have some as always, slightly radical and contra views. I'm a contrarian in general. Okay. So I think this whole always on piece, is unnecessary. So much of it is just stuff which has been fed to us by big tech because it benefits them, and we have to be smart about that. Yeah, not some businesses maybe need to be like that, but not every business. Okay, so I think one of the ways of avoiding this is to have a conversation initially with your prospective client partner. What are you hoping to do? And have an honest answer yourself whether you're equipped to do that or not. And again, by the way, we did that. So I can again share my experiences. We would tell many clients who would say, you know what, oh, I need an always on agency. And I would say, okay, we are not an always on agency, so let's part. There's nothing wrong in that. Oh, I need at least 25 posts a day. And if I would ask, but like, what is the value of the 25 posts? Like, who told you that's a great number? For what reason? No, we've been told. Then after point time, it's no point having this discussion. So we are very clear about the kind of client partners who we attract and what we can do for them. So I think the first thing to do is have clarity on that. Because what it means is if a client has already told you, I will need something every 3 hours, boss, then you can't grumble later on when he says, where's my post? Then you should have equipped your backend accordingly. You maybe should have automated things, maybe have lots of people working, etc. So I think the first starting point is clarity of expectation so that there's no mismatch. Second bit is alignment on, like I mentioned earlier also, what makes for good advertising. What is brand building? By the way, unfortunately, these days, in the last 10, 12 years, it's so abused. Most people, by the way, on both sides, on the agency side and the marketing side, have no idea what a brand is. They have no idea the difference between awareness, consideration, etc. Okay. And therefore, wrong bits are being placed, wrong terms are being bandied about in the wrong places. They have wrong expectations of the asset. Is this supposed to build love? If it's supposed to build brand love, then don't say कि इसे माल क्यों नहीं बिका, because that was, वो बिकेगा एक दिन, but that takes time. So I think these pieces, it's so important to have clarity on, have conversations about, even these bits thing, oh, today youngsters don't have much time, 10 seconders, 5 seconders, thumb stopper, this, that. And I'm like, think about this. What told you that this is true? Oh, Facebook told us, Google told us. I'm like, then why are their films 3-minute longs? For a second, think about this. How is it that so much of their work is all, I'm like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8-minute films I've seen. So I'm saying there's time and place for it. Maybe there are places where you need a 6-seconder, but it's not like a blanket rule. So be wise enough to know where do you need the 6-second and where do you need an 8-minute. I think it's so important, while it's very easy, by the way, to put agencies down. Actually, this is one of my pet peeves, that unfortunately advertising has become everybody's favorite whipping boy. I think a lot of people on the other side need to introspect. I think the quality of marketers in the last 10, 12 years has plummeted. That's the truth. I'm like, maybe not many people will reach out to Sideways now, but I genuinely believe so. It's very easy to say, look at those partnerships. Those were partnerships because you committed for the long run. You can't talk to agencies on project by project basis and say, oh, a partner, what have you done? I'm sorry. Your starting point was that you're not treating me as a partner. Then don't have those expectations. I tell everyone that in our long journey, whether at Ogilvy or Sideways, for so many of our clients, we've made many boo-boos. Many. Not everything that we do. It's not possible to have a great hit all the time. It's not possible. But the really amazing client partners, they get it. They're like, okay, we all tried, we failed, let's go again. They don't go like, what was this, etc. So I think so much of it is about expectation, behavior, having a conversation. I think communicate, like eventually in like everything in life, it comes down to communication. So just have very open chats, and I think then hopefully the stress levels will come down. But yes, will it always? We are not, unfortunately. This is a chaotic business. So, but that's also the joy of it. Yeah. So I think वो बोलते हैं ना, एक famous शेर है, कभी किसी को मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता. So it is that, boss, you can't get everything. Yes, it's stressful as life. Yes, it is erratic. Yes, but is there any other profession where you get to laugh so much, where you get to hang around with so many friends and do fun things? I don't think so. I have so many banker friends who are like loaded, but whenever they meet me, they're like, boss, we're all of the same age, but you're just so much younger than us in every which way. And I'm like, yeah, it's a trade-off. No, I get to be surrounded by really amazing young kids. I'd rather do that. So you just have to have clarity on all those things. I know I've rambled here and there, but yeah.
I think a lot of people would resonate with all the things you just said, right? And like expectations management are, I think, the expectations are pretty skewed, if you ask me, in my experience as well. And I think why people are getting more and more stressed, in my opinion, and as a designer myself, as an animator myself, like I am hating now the conversation is, and I also, as a business guy, as a Gujarati, as a founder, I'm also saying contrarian things to what I believe as a creator. Is a lot of times brands are like, just give me 50 assets, I'll see what the algorithm thinks works best. It doesn't matter, I'm not going to give you approval, just give me 50. And we usually are not in the business of making large films. We're doing a lot of content, and that's the opinion, and that's why the creative person's just annoyed. They're like, "Kya hai?" Like, what creativity this is? It's just, you're gonna make this. You mentioned big tech quite a lot, of which that we're almost at time. I want to touch upon that one big elephant in the room, right? Which is Zuckerberg some months ago actually, went and spoke in a large conference that they're adding an advertising layer on top of Meta. Google may also follow suit. While strategic large agencies or strategic boutique shops like you will not really be impacted, in the Indian market, right? There's a huge list of creative companies or agencies who do creative production, right? Like for example, even a lot of people in our platform take the core brand strategy and essence from the folks like you, and on behalf of brands produce that always on content. We are really scared, right, when we hear stuff like this. And I'm a big AI, like I've used AI almost every hour of my life for the last year, be it Replit to ChatGPT to whatever the hell. And it's real, like it's real, it's pretty good. Like if you're putting a good prompt with a good insight, it does a very decent job to collaborate with it. So people are really scared कि यार अगर एक advertising layer बन रहा है on top of Meta and Google, and they'll only do this, and the people who pay the money have the power, the clients, they're always of the opinion saying just give me 1,000 assets and then I'll see what works. These guys will be like out of job, right? So what's your advice to anybody who's maybe in the content production business today? How can they be relevant in the upcoming years?
So 2-3 things I feel. Are they great tools out there? Without doubt. Yeah, even we also use them once in a while for something or the other. I think what's important is to recognize the limitation of those tools and till wherewith they can take you. A lot of people talk about it, and every now and then on LinkedIn I see, oh, we made this AI film, we made this AI post. I'm like, yes, you made it, but do you realize how bad it is? Why you're not discussing that? Just, it's like saying, I made a painting. You must have made a painting. You must have used a new paint collection from DOMS. But I'm sorry, but like, how is it exactly? Okay, is it really memorable? Is it? So I think there is a certain genre and a kind of work which definitely will feel the pinch. I think there is no denying that. Anything which feels a little, which can be replicated, is slightly low imagination add, if I can say so, lacks nuancing. Definitely that those kind of businesses are a threat. And to me, the opportunity there is good. No, then you get to do even higher order stuff. See, because on one hand we're lamenting, अरे मुझसे regular काम करा रहा है. But if somebody is saying, don't worry, I will do the regular work, you should be happy. Now push yourself and do the really high order work which you really came into this field for. So I feel, is it a threat for some things? Yes. But I think if everybody aligns well, the things which we don't enjoy doing is other kind of things which are going to go away. The things that we enjoy doing, the reason why we all gotten into this field, I think those will always be there. Because in my belief, here's what you can do. Even if you have the most amazing, let's assume there's a marketer, there's somebody else who's or Meta or wherever it is, they might put the world's most amazing prompts, they might put all kind of things, and they will then dish out a piece of work. But is that piece of work good or bad? That they can't tell you. So what we will always have is judgment. And I think what's important is people to remember, by the way, besides the creation, the clients value us for our judgment. And you have to have conviction in that. You have to believe that, yes, your judgment is respected. AI can never tell you whether it's the right thing for you to do or not, because my judgment is informed by a million things. The context, has the competitor done something recently, etc. There are a million things before I and my team decide, okay, this is the one to go with. So I don't see it as a threat. I think it's a good thing. It comes in, it'll do all the grunt thing, nikal jayega. I feel, a lot of people say keep it's going to take over. अब writers क्या करेंगे अब I think हम लोग ज़्यादा मजे करेंगे अब. But you have to have conviction and faith in your judgment. And yes, then even the client would want to pay you for that. So I think it can be a win-win on both sides.
Like, the way I see it is, it's like somebody has to check their homework, right? Of AI's homework has to be checked. And I think that's where we come with that judgment, as you said.
Yes, a judgment. Conversations, by the way, we undervalue very rarely. Tell me, when was the last time you got a brief from a client partner and you're like, oh, this is amazing, now let's go? It never happens. Conversations help arrive at a brief. Yeah. So I think conversations, collaborations, and judgment, yeah, ऐसे नहीं होने वाला है. At least not for some time, at least.
Right, absolutely. Superb. Abhijit, thank you so much for kind of giving me your time, and it's been a fantastic hour with you. We are at the end of the podcast, and as a parting thought, I wanted to kind of ask you the final question. Let's say if I'm a agency owner and I've just started out and I want to maybe scale or grow my agency one day, what is my action plan for the next 12 months? What are the things I should focus on?
Just the work and nothing else. Nothing else. I'm telling you, everything else follows. Every single thing follows. You do something absolutely fabulous, which is original, which moves the needle for your client partner. Now, here's what happens. 2-3 things happen. They're going to come back to you with more work. They will tell some of their other friends saying, you know what, my agency is absolutely amazing. You should try them out. When your work is amazing, hopefully it will travel on the net. People will talk about it. Good talent will come to you, etc. So actually, all you need to focus on is the work, and nothing else.
Fantastic. I think such a simple but a profound thing which people forget in the entire complexities of things. That focus on the first principle always, and I think you'll have a great future ahead. So, what a golden advice to end the podcast on. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you had a good time.
Yes, thank you. Always fun to talk. And thanks, Kavan. This was an invigorating conversation for me as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure to have you. And for everybody who's tuned in, thank you so much. If you'd like another, leader in the advertising space joining us, please like, share, and subscribe. And a new episode will come out very soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kavan. See you. Bye-bye. All the best.
Thank you.